evening, and welcome to this edition of The List on UWW-TV. I'm Zach Kreider.
And I'm Charlie Siegel, and for the next few minutes, we'll present our top 5 sports stories of the week and discuss why they made the top 5. Did your top 5 make our list? Let's find out.
At number 5, the reigning NHL Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers, have started off the season hot. Charlie, what have you seen from the squad that has them off to such a good start?
Well, Zach, the Panthers look like a team that did not take the summer off. They picked up right where they left off, fast, physical, and disciplined. A key player I want to mention is Sergei Bobrovsky in the cage. He is arguably the greatest goalie in the NHL right now, and he's having an incredible season with a .914 save percentage as a goalie right at the start of the season. That's very hard to get as a goalie, and coming off of a great season. And as a playoff goalie, you lose a lot of weight, and it's very hard on your body. And to come right back into the season and have such a great start, it's very impressive, and I think he's definitely a Hall of Fame candidate.
Well, this is a team that obviously they've won back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and they're just such a well-rounded team. Of course, you mentioned Bobrovsky. He's excellent in the goal, and it's just a well-rounded team. You know, Sam Reinhart, Forsling, Ekblad, they've been fantastic for this team so far. So I look forward to seeing what they can do this year, possibly make it a three-peat. We talk about challengers. I have to talk about the Colorado Avalanche, currently undefeated. Nathan MacKinnon looking like one of the best players in the NHL, excellent source of goals and assists. He's consistently been in the MVP race. And I really like with Martin Necas also. He's been fantastic too, 26 years old, great source of assists for that team. I think they can make a deep run and possibly challenge this Florida Panthers from three-peating.
Going back to the Panthers, I just want to say they've come out with so much intensity with aggressive forechecking, special teams are clicking, and they're winning those tough puck battles. And you can just tell that they have that championship swagger and that they've just been there before. At number 4, the NFL experienced a variety of eye-catching action during Week 6. Exciting games on the field, but after the games we saw some punches thrown and some seasons ended in jeopardy for a couple of people, either due to injury or a loss of a job. Zach, what do you make of these recent chaoses in the NFL?
Well, starting off with the fight after the Lions-Chiefs game, it was a well-fought battle. The Chiefs were ultimately able to win the game. I know emotions run high, but at a certain point, you just have to accept the loss and just take it like a man. I know that the Chiefs are like the most hated team when it comes to the NFL, but Brian Branch, you just have to keep your emotions in check. There's really no need for that, especially at the end of the game. If you're going to take that energy, you have to have it in the game, not necessarily take it out at the end of the game. He is serving a 1-game suspension for that, which I think is somewhat appropriate. We talk about injuries. I mean, this has been such an injury-riddled season. All these stars, from Joe Burrow at quarterback to now Puka going down, he's week to week. I mean, we've seen so many injuries, and it brings up the question, should players go from turf to grass and then back to turf again, all these different fields? I feel like it should be one consistent substance to be played on. And then we talk about Brian Callahan, who got fired for the Titans. The NFL is such a results-driven business. They don't really want to see players develop. They want results now. They want coaches to win now. And now this makes the last 4 number 1 overall picks at quarterback, they've had their coach fired in their rookie season. I don't like it because I think that these teams need to stop prematurely firing all these players and coaches and just give them a chance to develop.
I think we do need to get a sense of flow with these NFL coaches and these young quarterbacks. It's very hard and stressful on these young players to get into a new system and to have to redo it all over again in their second season.
Yeah, and we talk about all these players. It's so frustrating because obviously the fans, they pay money to watch these guys play. And when we don't see these guys play, it ultimately hurts both the team and the business as a whole. At number 3, the Las Vegas Aces have won their 3rd WNBA championship in the last 4 years, sweeping the Phoenix Mercury. Charlie, how does this team continue the success it has had over the last half-decade?
Well, first I have to say it starts at the top from Becky Hammon, who has built a dynasty out in Las Vegas. She's a player's coach, but one of the best tacticians in basketball, period. She has that star power like A'ja Wilson, who's cemented herself as the face of the WNBA right now. She's dominant on both ends, and you add Chelsea Gray's leadership and Kelsey Plum's scoring punch. You've got a core that just knows how to win, and looking ahead, they've managed the cap well. They can add more versatile forward or defensive specialist through free agency, and there's just no reason why they can't three-peat next year. It honestly becomes Aces versus everybody at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. A'ja Wilson in the postseason averaging 26.8 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. She's obviously the building block and the driving factor for this Aces team. They even lost Kelsey Plum after last season, and like you said, Jackie Young and Chelsea Gray stepped up and did the job, ultimately sweeping the Mercury in the WNBA Finals. Looking forward to next year, so many free agents in this class, 2026. Kelsey Mitchell, Jackie Young, Arike Gumbawale, Alyssa Thomas, who just played for the Phoenix Mercury and had an absolutely fantastic series, basically averaged a triple-double in that, and Brianna Stewart. So a team like the Aces with their winning pedigree, and like you said, Becky Hammon, fantastic coach, I think we see a lot of these players attracted to this team because of just the winning culture, winning pedigree, and like we said, I don't really see a reason why this can't be a three-peat for the Aces.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. The Aces are looking fantastic, and I'm excited for the next season.
Could not agree more. We've got more coming up on the list, including a discussion on the final in our fall ball and a change at the helm for a disappointing program. We'll be right back.
Here at UW Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on! Stepped it anyways. Oh, she got that off, and they're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
Matt checking in to see how Sam is doing on his project, and it's getting close to exporting now, the final step in the process. And it is complete, and Sam is hyped. Finally gets complete and spikes the ball into the end zone. Sam's celebrating with his colleagues, and they throw a flag on the play. The ref's going to call excessive celebration. Sam is in disbelief and can't believe it. He tries to dispute the call, but the ref is not having any of it.
Welcome back to The List on UWW-TV. Let's continue the countdown to this week's top sports stories. At number 2, the MLB Championship Series are underway with the Blue Jays and the Mariners facing off in the ALCS in a rematch of the 2018 NLCS between the Dodgers and Brewers. On the NL side of things, Zach, what have you seen from these four squads so far, and who do you think comes out on top of each series?
Well, of course, we have to talk about the Brewers finally getting their first playoff series win since 2018. So sorry for your Cubs, of course. They go on. They go on to now once again face the Dodgers here in the NLCS, and it looks to be a great matchup. I think the Brewers are a little bit stronger, to be honest. They are 6-0 against the Dodgers in the regular season. I think that we could see them come on top in this series. The Dodgers, obviously we say the stars come out in October, but I don't think the bullpen for the Dodgers is nearly as deep as this Brewers pitching staff. The Brewers are pitching well. They win in a lot of different ways. And I think the biggest thing for them is that they continue to win in different ways. We didn't see them hit a lot of home runs in the regular season. And now all of a sudden against the Cubs, you hit 3 home runs to ultimately win you the series. Looking over at the ALCS, Mariners and Blue Jays. Mariners, I really like the way these guys are playing. They have a great pitching unit, and we need to talk about Jorge Polanco. Of course, you have Cal Raleigh, big dumper, great at hitting home runs, great at getting on base. But Jorge Polanco has really stepped up for this team, getting on base, getting RBIs, and he's made a huge difference into taking this Mariners team to the next level. I think we could see Mariners Brewers.
I could see that too, but can the Brewers get past that Seattle pitching staff? That's the main question I have here. And for LA, they've been very consistent, but they cannot solely rely on Mookie and Freddie. Milwaukee's bullpen is nasty, but I think the bats need to wake up. And we kind of did see that in the Cubs series. However, LA is a very tough team, and we are getting a rematch from that 2018 season. I'm very excited to tune in and watch that. But the main thing is, can Milwaukee get over the hump and finally advance to where they haven't been before?
Yeah, that's going to be the big storyline. Of course, these batters have to come up huge in October. And our top story of the week, following their most recent loss to Northwestern, Penn State has fired head coach James Franklin after 12 seasons. This team came into the season ranked number 2 in all of college football, but has fallen to 3-3. Charlie, what do you make of this firing, and how does the rest of the season shake out for the Nittany Lions and the rest of the Big Ten?
I just want to say, Zach, this is not a shocker, and we saw this coming for the past 2 teams. It's unfortunate because James Franklin was supposed to be the guy to finally get Penn State over that hump, but instead they've just fallen apart. In recent games, he's had back-to-back losses, and the loss to Northwestern was a tough one. Drew Aller suffered a season-ending lower ankle injury, and you hate to see that. Drew Aller had a great season last season, and Penn State, I just think they're falling into that hole where they need to get dug out very, very quickly. Penn State's supposed to be a top program, and it's great when you have great players like Abdul Carter go and play in the league that season, and when you lose them, you have no one else there. No one steps up, and your role players are still role players, and no one steps up. I think that's the big problem with Penn State. But I also would not be surprised if someone lands James Franklin very, very quickly. He is a great head coach. Unfortunately, he could not get it done at Penn State. But there's a lot of schools that are looking for a very consistent head coach, and maybe it could have just been his scheme that wasn't working or anything else. But I think Penn State could look for a young offensive-minded coach like Jamie Chadwell from Liberty, or the Oregon defensive coordinator and Josh Lupoy if they want to go defensive. The Big Ten landscape is probably the best idea to look for Penn State. Oregon is very strong, but that loss to Indiana shows the conference is wide open, and Michigan and Ohio State's run are on the show. So I think Penn State should definitely take a step back this season and look for the future rather than just this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a couple years too late, if I'm being quite honest. James Franklin now owed $49 million in buyout money. He had a 104-45 record at Penn State, which is good, on paper. But of course, when you can't beat those top teams, it's really tough to stay a head coach for such a prestigious program.
And that will do it for this edition of The List. We'll be back in a week to talk about next week's Top 5 Sports headlines. I'm Charlie Siegel.
And I'm Zach Kreider. We'll see you next time for more stories right here on UWW TV.